So I hope my
Yes, all
screen is
warmed up.
visible.
Yes.
Brilliant. Great. So today we'll be starting with winter wellness. And before I go forward, I will be sharing with you all the rules and regulations and your interpretations, right? So here is what you should be doing. For some of you who are joining for the first time, then you will be not knowing as to where you need to see your language translations, correct? So if you're joining through your laptop, you will be getting to see a globe symbol at the end of your laptop, right? Here you'll get to see a globe symbol. Click on the symbol and you would be taken to this options, right? First of all, switch off English, mute original audio, which is in English, right? And then you can choose whichever language you prefer. That is Hindi, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Tamil, Bengali, whichever language you prefer, you can choose that particular language. For those of you who are seeing this training and attending this training through your phone, it can be your iOS or your Android. You will get to see 3 dots in the top right corner, right? So click on those 3 dots, you will get to see language interpretation. Again, mute the language first, the original audio, and then choose whichever language you prefer. All right, and click on done. And as you all know, no photography or videography. We need your entire attention because this is going to be all about winter, and that's going to be preparing you for your customers and for yourselves for the next 2 to 3 months, right? Till the winter ends, right? So before I go forward, before any further ado, we will be talking about why winter wellness and why is it very important. So today we'll be taking up topics regarding as to why is nutrition important during winters, why is hydration, exercise, all the things we sometimes miss usually during winters, we let go of. We will be taking care of those topics. We will be guiding you and training you in those topics. Okay. Starting with why is nutrition important? What is the major reason to focus on our nutrition, especially during winters, though it is very important rest of the year. But winters is usually a time where we all relax. We are all having our vacation mode on, right? And most of us will be traveling and so on, and so many plans will be going on. So many weddings, winter weddings. I just attended a winter wedding and came back, and I know how much it is, how much we let go, correct? So this is why we are talking about it today. So as you all can see, one of the major reasons is for limited sun exposure. We hardly feel like going out. We are not exposed. We don't feel like getting up early in the morning. We'll not even feel like, going out early in the morning, especially during winters. And also, we'll not have any mood to do any kind of physical activity. We all like being covered in layers and layers of clothes, right? We'll not even feel like doing any physical activity, be it any exercise at all. And what do we crave for the most? All our hot bhajis, bondas, and so many chaats, and so much of chai, tea, coffee, everything we would be craving for. And these are your comfort foods, right? So the cravings increase during this time. Because it's very cold, we end up drinking extremely less water or any fluid of that matter, right? Except for tea, coffee, which from our regular intake of 2 to 3 teacups, it might go to 5 to 8. But apart from that, we are not hydrating ourselves. So hydration issues also we would be considering. Coming towards our holiday indulgences. So our holiday indulgences mainly means all travels, all your plans during this vacation season. That means you're either traveling to different places, you'll be having your vacations, weddings, parties. So eating there, how is your eating routine? How is your lifestyle during that short period of time? Because it is going to be multiple number of days, you will also end up partying or traveling or maybe, vacationing the whole duration, right? So that time also, how to maintain your health and overcome your holiday indulgence, overcome your, holiday freedom is what we have already spoken in the previous Factual Friday. I hope you all remember that is the mindful eating, how to eat during festivities, how important it is to meet the right nutrients in the right quantity is what we had spoken about, and how exercises and hydration is important, especially during such times, is very important. And we have spoken about it, right? Apart from that, limited access to fresh produce. Though green leafy vegetables and certain vegetables will be higher in produce, but because we don't go out more during this frame of time, we end up, either ordering some the ones which we end up ordering from home itself, and sometimes it becomes so that we don't, get the fresh produce. We are not going to the supermarkets and all by ourselves, checking whether the food that or vegetables or fruits that we have got is fresh. We don't know if it's organic or, without any pesticides, or it's not very old in the supermarkets and vegetable markets, right? So limited access is also there. Apart from that, we also have a strain on our immune system. Our immunity dips. And when we are talking about immunity, it's very important, especially during this season, right? So, Aisha, here comes one of our questions, our most favorite questions, actually. So, ever wonder why our immunity seems to take a hit, especially during winters? Why is that so?
So yes, Bindu. So certainly, immunity definitely takes a hit here during winters. Now, before I begin talking more about immunity, right? So let's imagine immune system to be like a team of superheroes. Okay, they're defending against these villains, which are our viruses and bacteria that are entering our system, right? Imagine these superheroes performing in a very shivering state, and in cold weathers when their peak performance is at low, so they can't really perform at their best, right? During winter the temperature drops, right? And the superheroes may not function as efficiently as they would do in milder weathers, okay, or when they're all charged up. So with this, the immune system definitely takes on a toll. But what are those important factors which leads to this is, first thing is this decreased sunlight exposure. So here, one of the major deficiencies that we see during winter is vitamin D deficiency, right? So with vitamin D exposure being very less because of limited sunlight exposure, and indoor lifestyle, right? So like you just mentioned, people end up sitting in one place, in the vicinity of their house and ordering food. So that indoor lifestyle, so when they are all crammed up or overcrowded in the house, so it's too cold, nobody, not a family member stepping out, colder weathers, so they are more prone to infections. That way they pass it on very easily, right? And dry indoor air. So why dry indoor air is, so now dry indoor air, it'll dry up your mucus system, mucus also, which is your first line of defense. So when you inhale the air, if the air has like a lot of virus and bacteria, right? So it's the mucus which prevents it. Now, if that mucus dries up during winter, it easily lets the virus get into your system. Now, if the virus is getting into your system during winter, it creates even more favorable condition for it to grow. So that way, your immunity is hit in colder months, right? So there are a lot of ways that you can tackle through, right? So before understanding that, we need to understand which are the key nutrients that support our immune health. So we know our food, our foods that provides nutrients, and that is further nourishing for overall well-being and health, right? But there are certain nutrients which are definitely needed to enhance the immune health, like for example your vitamin A, C, D. Now here, vitamin A, C, D, so like I mentioned, vitamin D is definitely being deficient during winters. Even vitamin C for that matter, because of the lack of limited food produce, right? And limited consumption of fruits, because it's colder weather, people end up having to cold, cough. They limit their intake of fruits and vegetables, because of which the vitamin C is being consumed, right? And vitamin D, of course, it gives you an antioxidant effect. So along with your A, C, and D, there are other nutrients like selenium, zinc, copper, which gives you an antioxidantal support, which will help you combat the infection, right? So these vitamins and minerals are important. Now, speaking of iron, folate, vitamin B12, and B6. So these four nutrients are associated with increasing your hemoglobin content, right? So you must have, heard about this. The blood, the more the blood in your body, the warmer you are, right? So the actual, the reason behind this is that the blood, the iron, folate, B12, B6, it helps in production of hemoglobins, right? Now that will in turn help transport all the nutrients to the vital organs, so which will, which will keep that functioning efficiently. So that way it supports our overall body's immune system, right? So moving further, we have so when we speak about these vitamins and nutrients, right? So there are a lot of facts associated to these vitamins and minerals. So vitamins and minerals, we know it falls into the category of micronutrient. So when you say the word micronutrient, it means it needs to be consumed in very limited amount. But these limited amounts are different for different people. If it's an athlete, the number varies. If it's somebody who has a moderate life, it varies. If somebody who's into a sedentary life, it varies. So we need to understand that aspect. And most of them, most of them cannot be synthesized by the body. It needs to be consumed. It is essential. We call it essential because it needs to be coming from our diet through our supplementation. And they do not add a calorie component, which is a good thing. It does not add to a calorie burden, right? And small amounts of certain vitamins. Say, for example, we call it water soluble, we call it fat soluble, right? Why do we call them water soluble? Because they dissolve well in water. Say, for example, if you are boiling some vegetable and throwing away that water, most of the nutrients, water soluble vitamins are lost in that. Likewise, the fat soluble vitamins, you need to consume a lot of fat to get them absorbed, right? So you end up not taking it because you're calorie conscious, right? So that way, a lot of nutrients are lost. Now, how to bridge this gap? It's very important to keep in mind these things as well as bridge this gap. Now, this gap can be bridged through supplementation. Now, supplementation comes through multivitamin and mineral. As we all know, it is a unique blend of 17 essential micronutrients, which is your vitamins and minerals, right? So that will give you the essential vitamins and minerals that's needed for your overall well-being. Your cell activator, the nutrients in it, the vitamins in it is giving you the antioxidant support, which I spoke about, which I said it's very essential to enhance your immune system. And the Herbalife calcium tablets. So it not just has calcium in it, but it has magnesium and vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is very, very essential because of the limited sun exposure. So this will definitely bridge the gap for you, right? So not just these vitamins and minerals, but there's more to the immune system, right? So we all know that about the good bacteria, the bad bacteria that come into the body when our lifestyle. So it's winter, right? So we go and snug ourselves into a blanket and we're all there eating unhealthy food. Our sleep pattern is affected. So is the balance of our bacteria in the stomach, right? Be it good or bad bacteria, the balance is getting affected, okay, based on our lifestyle during winter. So this also can impact the immunity. So what happens is when you ingest a good bacteria, it goes and settles into your digestive system, which is into the intestine. Now that intestine will give a favorable condition for it to grow for better, right? Grow to provide all the health benefits to our body. So when it grows, right, and say, for example, a threat or a virus or a bacteria gets into our system, so it gets activated. It activates the immune cells. Either it directly activates or it tells somebody to activate. Now, this somebody is nothing but like a regulatory cells or like a policeman shown here. So this policeman will direct. It will tell the immune cells So to get activated, to work on a specific bacteria or a thread that is getting inside, bad bacteria, right? And it'll ask the rest of them to take a back seat. So that's the important focus of a good bacteria in our body, right? So we all know the best product that we have for bacteria is Simply Probiotic, right? Now, why Simply Probiotic? Because it fits easily into your daily routine. Because it is winter, we all have to resort to something that is warm, right? So you can mix this Simply Probiotic in your warm beverages. You can mix it with hot water, your hot soups, your shake, right? All of these things. So it fits. It's a great blend. And we all know it does not have any calorie burden. It does not add to any flavor, sugar, or artificial sweeteners, right? So that's the beauty of this product. And it is made up of Bacillus, patented IS2 Bacillus coagulans. Now, why Bacillus coagulans? Is because, it survives the stomach acid, because this bacteria are quite susceptible to a lot of, reasons. So it gets killed in acid, it gets killed in a lot of, like high temperatures, or sometimes even at cold temperatures. So that it can survive this particular bacteria can survive this and give us all the benefit that's required, right? So that's about the Simply Probiotic. And then we have our healthy fats, right? So why we speak of healthy fats? So fats, I mentioned, a lot of people are exposed to consuming a lot of fat during winter, but we need to ensure that we are consuming healthy fats, right? Now they play a very important role in the body. It's like the security system barriers, right? So every strong security system will have a barrier. Now, what does this barrier do? When there is a threat that is coming onto the surface, right? It communicates to the immune cells. So it goes and signals the immune cells. It tells them to, it just says that, boss, it's time to get activated. You have to start functioning effectively now. So that's the function of your healthy fats, right? So these healthy fats are usually consumed through food, like I mentioned, but there is again limited produce of it during winters. Like, for example, your fatty fish, which is high in omega-3 fatty acids, it's quite limited during winters. You don't generally get it, or it's very expensive, right? So that way you need to consume our product, which is Herbal Lifeline, made of omega-3 fatty acids. So it has EPA and DHA in it, right? So this is a blend of marine lipids, which will not just protect your cardiovascular system, will not just lead to maintaining the blood triglyceride levels, but will also help you enhance the immune system. So remember the security system barrier that I spoke about. That's how it signals it, right? So this was about the vitamins and minerals, the nutrients aspect of it. So but India on its own has a kind of culture and tradition that we've been following during winters. So I want you to take the audience through it and emphasize more on our roots and cultures that we follow as Indians.
Thank you, Aisha. So that was really informative as to what all products we have, especially for in terms for meeting our immunity, right? And it's very easy because we have these products in hand itself. Coming to the winter traditions that we have in India, rightly said, it's been since historic times, and we have it in every household. All our grandparents, all our mothers, our fathers, and all, they would have inculcated it as we were kids, maybe. And over the long run, due to modernization, we would have stopped it, but we are getting back there again, right? So one of them is emphasis on the warming foods. Now, why these warming foods, and what do these foods actually do? So we have warming foods like tulsi, ginger, pepper, turmeric, right? These are all these food spices. They are basically your spices and herbs, right? So tulsi, it is usually grown in every household, one way or the other. You can make it in the form, you can take it in the form of your teas, either as herbal tea or kada. It's always included. And also it helps a lot in elevating your cold symptoms. Coming towards your ginger, it is usually used, as you know, in every cooking household. In every food, we definitely add ginger in one way or the other. And morning ginger tea, especially during winters, is the most common habit people have. Right, during winters and rainy season, people prefer usually either ginger tea or any variant of ginger in their routine. Moving on is your pepper and turmeric. Now, pepper and turmeric, though we add a lot in our foods, but it had come into a major spike, especially since the past 2-3 years. Because of COVID, the habit of using turmeric and pepper has become way too high than it had been before. And that is because of their antiseptic effects and their antimicrobial effects, right? So for that reason, these are the certain herbs that had come into picture mainly. Moving on is your herbal remedies. Usually cinnamon, cardamom, cloves are mainly added in decoctions, and you use even kada at home, or kashaya, which we say in South India, kada in North India, right? So though we don't like it too much, but it's always very comforting, and it gives a complete warmth. It generates warmth in our body because these are all high thermogenic foods, right? So they generate heat throughout the body when it's had hot. Obviously, we don't take a lot of quantity. It is taken in small quantities only. And again, some people prefer taking it during at least once a day mainly, whereas some people were in severe cold regions and all, sometimes they go for twice a day, right? But never more than that, right? Apart from that, your exercises. Now, yoga originated in India, so it's since historic times, right? But specifically Surya Namaskara and certain heating pranayamas or pranayamas in general, they are all giving you the thermogenic effect. Surya Namaskara, does make you want to get up early in the morning, actual salutations, but it's still fine if it is done in the evening sun as well. But at least doing it, you feel the effect, because usually your exercises have different muscle groups. Here in one stretch, you can have a quick 30-minute session like how you do for your exercises, even in Surya Namaskara as well. And it does not take up much of your time, and you end it feeling energized and more energetic at the end of the session, and you feel the warmth throughout your body, right? So here, when we have been talking about our herbs that we've been using since historic times, we also have a product with us, that is your Vritti Life Immune Health. And it contains your Kalmik, Tulsi, and Kutaki herbs as well. So this is something that is preferably taken right now to help improve your immunity as well, right? And it has your extracts of these, your flavor, your actual extracts that would help you elevate your symptoms as well. Moving on, coming to our favorite part, Mythbusters, and mainly what are our myths that's associated with winters, right? So, Aisha, we have come across one favorite myth, frequent myth: eating more will keep you warm in winters. Is it true?
Okay, firstly, it's not true. It's a myth, right? The notion that eating more will keep you warm. So basically, while consuming food, while consuming these foods, it provides your body with energy. So that's the basic fact we understand, right? Which generates heat through the process of metabolism. So when you eat food, the food gets digested and it metabolizes. So in this process, it generates some heat. That is the common phenomenon, irrespective of summer or winter, right? So the idea of eating more will significantly impact the body temperature is not entirely accurate. Okay, it might be to a very small extent, like you just mentioned about the warm foods, right? If you eat certain foods, that will produce a good amount of energy. But the body's ability to maintain a stable internal temperature, okay, this entire process, that internal to maintain, to either keep it very high or low, that entire process is called thermoregulation. And this thermoregulation is influenced by a lot of factors. It's about say if it's too cold outside, right? I'm sure if it's too cold and if you're feeling cold, you want to be in your normal state. You'll be all warmed up, like I'm all warmed up today, right? So that way you're wearing the external clothing. So when that happens, your body temperature is already getting regulated. Okay, it won't burn more calories as such, right? So with this, so in cold weather, your body may burn very negligible amounts to generate heat, which is otherwise a normal phenomenon, not just in specific with winters. Like if you really want the body to start burning more calories, I think you should go with bare minimum clothes standing outside. That way it will burn more calories, but that is not something that anyone would suggest you to do so, right? So it's essential to dress properly for the weather and maintain balanced diet for overall health. Don't keep eating like more food to stay warm and add on a calorie burden, and then which can lead to a weight gain.
Okay.
So yeah,
here we are.
Next myth.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't need to stay hydrated in winter like you do in summer. So tell us a little about this, Bindu.
So this is actually completely wrong, right? So it's essential. It's very, very essential to stay hydrated in winters as well, right? Obviously, the water intake might be slightly lesser, but not extremely less or, completely reducing it. If our regular intake during summers, maybe say 3 to 3.5 liters or so, we coming down to 1 liter of water is completely wrong, right? So making sure we hydrate ourselves is very important. Now, what happens when you do that? We stay warm. It helps in our thermoregulation, like you mentioned, how the food keeps your body, helps you feel that warmth for a certain period of time because of their thermoregulation, right? Water also, because it is through our bloodstream. It's a main component of your bloodstream.
Recording
right?
in progress.
The main component of even your lymphatic system and every part of the body, right? So that will keep your, will keep you warm as well. And especially during winters, because of not drinking correct water, we don't feel like drinking water, mainly because we are not thirsty. We are inside a cold room. So obviously the body will not give us that signals, correct? But we definitely feel like for that craving sake, we will feel like, drinking something warm like teas and, coffees, as I mentioned before, but preferably opting for other fluids would be better always. Even plain water, having at least 2 liters of plain water and combining another 1.5 liter with other fluids, like we'll have your hydrate and all, which I would be discussing in the further slides as well, and soups and rasams, pepper rasams, and all clear soups and all also gives you nutrients and your fluid component. And that will also keep your body hydrated, right? So it's very important. And apart from that, also plays your major role in your immunity, in your, as I mentioned, body temperature. You will also see the texture of your skin not being dried, not because of the winter dehydration. Causing, anytime when you're taking very less water, you will feel dehydrated. Though you will not get the signal because you're not thirsty, but if you see your skin starts becoming very dry, and that is one of the main causes for dryness in the skin, usually during winters, and just a topical application of moisturizers won't help. You should see to it that you're eating and drinking water at least properly. That's one of the things. So Aisha, one more thing about diet we have seen when it comes to weight. You lose weight in winters because your body burns more calories to stay warm. Is that true?
So like I mentioned, Bindu, earlier, whether you eat more, okay, during winter, or you, because of the winter weather, because of the external weather, you burn more calories. So that's very much in a negligible state here, right? So what happens is you actually don't lose as such. There's no significant amount that's number that's seen on the scale. But like I said, the clothing matters, the environmental conditions matter, all of that matters, right? So with that, you burn very negligible amount. But if you are eating like a lot of food just to keep yourself warm, you're adding a calorie burden there, right? So that will, instead of making you lose weight, make you put on more weight during winters, because you're resorting to a lot of comfort foods, okay, and trying to eat more while you're trying to keep warm, considering that winter will any which ways make me burn more calories. ऐसे नहीं चलेगा.
Right.
So yeah,
Duly noted.
that's the fact
Okay.
about this myth. And in association to that, people also frequently come across saying that because it's winter, you fall ill very frequently, right? So all winter illnesses is just due to the cold weather. It's so can you like debunk this myth for us?
Okay. Yes, Aisha. So, like you mentioned in our first two slides itself, how staying indoors usually is, because of being indoors full time, throughout winters, most of the time at least, we are generating a favorable environment for the viruses to grow. We are not going out, we are not exposing ourselves to sunlight. Vitamin D production is less as well, and your immunity dips as well that time, right? So what happens that time is, we are most of the time, first of all your winter illnesses, most frequently, it's usually a regular flu or, common cold, fever, mild fever, and all of that. All of those are caused by viruses, right? It's just that the symptoms are aggravated a little bit during winters because added to the factor of the cold weather, right? So viruses are the ones that is causing you the illness. It's not the climate or the weather outside that is causing us the illnesses. This is mainly because, again, like you mentioned, we are all always under the blankets throughout the winter. We are not heading out, so there is no circulation of fresh air going and coming in most of the time, because to avoid the cold winds entering our house so that we don't feel chill, we end up closing our windows. That causes a lot of stale air circulating within the house itself. So it's always important, especially when the sunlight is there early, at least few hours when there is good amount of sunlight and evening sunlight, keep your windows open, especially even during winters. And when it is not windy, just keep your window a little bit open for some time so that there is some form of fresh air coming in, and the stale air is circulated out, it passes out, and there is some conversion of air happening, right? And that way we have to also make sure that we are doing some form of exercise. We are going out, taking some form of sunlight, at least even in the winter sun, at least 10 to 20 minutes also. We'll feel energized, plus we are improving our vitamin D levels also when we are exposing ourselves to the sunlight, right? Even that would help. So it's not just because of winter, it's because of the viruses basically that is circulating within our houses, within the closed doors, making us more prone for getting the illness actually. So Aisha, we have spoken a lot about so many myths today. One among them is exercising during winters is bad for health. So please help us avoid this.
This is definitely not true, right? So exercising during winter is not at all harmful for your health. So regular physical activity supports the immune system. It'll help you manage your weight, more importantly, and it'll enhance mood. So it'll give you it'll release that feel good hormone in your body, which will actually, make you feel good for the rest of the day. And it will contribute for your overall health, definitely. So exercise is not bad at all. It's just that you need to take precautions, okay, considering the weather that you are in right now. It's very important to stay hydrated, like we've always mentioned, and being mindful about, the outdoor conditions. You can exercise indoors. Like yoga is something very beneficial. You can do it at a slow pace, low impact exercises where you can, breathe in and breathe out more comfortably. So such are the exercises that you can opt for, right? Exercising in colder weathers or warmer weathers, it remains an integral part of your healthy maintaining a healthy lifestyle. So it cannot be viewed as harmful at all, as per me.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, speaking of exercise, right? Staying hydrated for exercise is very very important, and we all know that we speak a lot about hydration during winters. So we know it's important, but how is it? Why is it so important, and how can we maintain? Bindu, can you just tell this most important thing for us?
Sure, definitely. So I have mentioned about, why hydration is important, at least in forms of in a gist at least. So in detail, when you're mentioning, it supports our brain function. Many do not know this, but severe dehydration can impact our brain functioning. Or we start becoming, we are not mentally alert. We are not thinking right. We are most of the time the dizziness and all usually happens, like what happens usually during severe summers, during because of the sunstroke and all of that, heat stroke, I'm sorry. Usually that happens due to the peak summers, especially in certain parts of the country. In the same way, winter dehydration causes this impact on the brain as well. Not thinking straight, not ability to not function, or work properly, not being mentally alert. All of this is caused because of dehydration, and this is why hydration is very important to overcome this factor, right? I mentioned about regulating body temperature. How body temperature? Because it's water is basically a major component of all the fluids that's present in our body, right? Your blood stream, your lymphatic system, each and everything is mainly because of water. The fluidity is because of water, the viscosity and all is there, right? So when there's bloodstream moving in, obviously it helps in maintaining the internal temperature towards it keeps at balance, the homeostasis, right? And usually you will notice mainly that whenever you're taking a hot shower and coming out, your body, because of the chill air suddenly when you're going to be exposed to, your body shivers, right? That shiver is mainly because the body is trying to maintain the temperature. It's trying to balance the internal external temperature, internal inside the body and outside the environment temperature. But if you take a cold shower and then get yourself exposed to the come out of the bathroom and all, you won't shiver, because the first hit of the shower you will shiver for a while, but when you're completing the shower, your body has normalized, it's stabilized. Plus you will actually notice you're feeling more energetic after a quick cold shower as well. And the body is slowly internally it is warming up. That warming up because of the bloodstream, the main component of it being water, right? So that is how water helps in regulating our body temperature. It helps in maintaining your energy levels and also the transport of immune cells. Now, when we say about transporting immune cells and maintaining your energy levels, it means about your dehydration. When you're dehydrated, your energy levels also dip down, right? You're not all the more active when you're severely dehydrated. Instead, you feel tired, you start panting, even by walking a little bit as well. You're not thinking straight. It is all connected again to our brain functioning, because your brain is the mastermind, right? And it is the thing that it is the part of the body that will tell you, okay, this is what you should be doing, and it sends signals to the entire nervous system. In the same way, I've mentioned water is a main component of all the fluids in the body. In the same way, your lymphatic systems, which has your WBC or your fighter cells that fights against infections, is composed by the water itself, right? So it helps not only in the transport of nutrients to your target organs through the blood, it also helps in the transfer of all these WBCs, your fighter cells, to the infected area or the injured area, or any basic cold cough, as basic as the response of sneezing. As you mentioned, the mucous membrane is your primary safety barrier when you're breathing in and out, right? So even the mucous membrane should stay hydrated, and it stays hydrated because of water itself. So in that way, it's very essential. Moving on as to how we can do this. That is mainly why several parameters we can definitely do it. We can meet our hydration levels. From that, we have our few products as well that would help, right? We have our favorite aloe. If you don't like drinking plain water, you can definitely mix it with aloe. It gives a nice tangy flavor and you can have it at least. And that would also help with maintaining your hydration. Taking good amount of water, detox waters, or starting your day with water also contributes to your hydration. As we all know, drinking good amount of soup. It can be any kind of soup of that matter. It can be a thick vegetable soup, non-vegetarian soup, or a stew per se. Even you can also, did you know, Aisha, we also can add PP for the soups and gravies and make it protein rich, right? So that also would help us, contributor for our hydration. And as you all know, our hydrate. Hydrate is one of the major and the one of our most favorite product where you can get even your electrolytes and your minerals coming in and you're getting that good tangy orange flavor. It's all there and it's all packed, and it helps with maintaining our salt levels, our electrolyte levels, without the urge of completely washing out our nutrients when we're excessive, when it happens, a chance of excessive hydration, right? Apart from that, your winter vegetables, you have a lot of water-rich foods also coming in. Apples and tomatoes, lemons, oranges, cucumbers, spinach, all of these will have some form of water, some content of water. Including them as well will help with the water intake and maintain our hydration. So
Correct.
we have spoken a lot. So we've spoken
Rightly
a
said
lot.
about hydration. Rightly said about hydration, Bindu. I know even if someone's just popping up a supplement, that will definitely take care of their hydration level for the entire day. Like that will also contribute to it.
Definitely, Aisha. And that's why it's very important. As basic as one main thing, if we can understand whether your body is dehydrated or not, is, when you scratch your skin also, if you get that white mark, it means it's a sign that your body is dehydrated. And it's time to take that water, a glass of water then and there. So everyone here, give a small scratch on your hand. See if you have, see if there is that white mark that's coming in. That means your skin is dry and you need to hydrate yourself. It's time to hydrate yourself. And meanwhile, also we have Aisha telling us to what exactly is winter blues and how the nutrition routine can help manage it.
Okay, we all actually know what winter blues is. It's just that the term is kind of making it a little complicated, but it's nothing but, it's a form of depression that sets during winter. I wouldn't like call it more like depression, but like I said, you feel like, staying indoors and all warmed up and don't feel like going outside because of limited sun exposure. All of that will set into depression. And there are a lot of symptoms that include this. So when you have winter blues, when you have these symptoms, when you're oversleeping at home, when you don't have when you feel like eating more food, when you have that carbohydrate craving, and when you have the daytime fatigue, right? So when you have daytime fatigue because of the, again, limited amount of sun exposure, all of this will eventually lead to weight gain. Now, why is all this happening? Why are all these symptoms, and why do we call it winter blues? There is some hormone which is, which helps you with your mood, which either makes you too happy or too sad. When the levels are very low, you get into that sad mode. When the levels are appropriate, you get into that happy mode, which happens during exercise, right? The feel good hormone that I mentioned, this is the thing. Okay. So it's this hormone. When everything is going right, the hormone is also appropriately there in your body, and it's a neurotransmitter which regulates your mood. Now there are a lot of foods that will actually alleviate this. Okay, there is an amino acid, an essential amino acids. When I say essential, I said earlier that it is not made from your body, but you need to take it externally. Now this tryptophan, which is present in a lot of protein-rich foods. Okay, so these are the list of foods like soy, nuts and seeds, chicken, turkey, dairy, eggs, fish. Now, this is very, very, very rich in tryptophan. Now, what does this tryptophan do? Now, this tryptophan helps increase or is like a precursor. Okay, it's like, like a sidekick of serotonin. It tells, yes, it's time for you to elevate, it's time for you to increase, right? So when that increase, you get into all that happy mood. Okay, so even in winters, you can be at the best of your mood by taking protein rich food sources. And our best source of protein is our meal replacement foods. Now, this will not just give you that nutrient dense quality of food, but it will also control the comfort food eating. So all the junk that you feel like eating, all the fatty foods, the warming foods that you feel like eating, especially the fatty foods, which in turn kind of like slightly increases the temperature in our body. That's why we feel like eating though. So that can be controlled without adding much of a calorie burden, right? We can add variety to it. If you're feeling like having any dessert, you can take my favorite kulfi flavor, and very fruitish. Then strawberry is of course there, and rest of our flavors like mango. So it adds variety, it is giving you nutrient dense meal, and more importantly, it is giving you that it is satisfying your hunger. What more do you want in winter if something satisfies your hunger and it is helping you stay away from the unwanted calories, right? Nothing like it. So the best meal replacement with the Formula One, with PPP, personalized protein powder, and Shakemate will definitely help you, right? So this is the best go-to thing that I'm going to follow through this winter, right? So apart from the protein, there are a lot of queries that come up, and I myself find it so sometimes I struggle with low energy levels during winter season, and it seems like I'm facing a bit of a challenge to stay energized. Can you help me with some insights on how to maintain this?
So definitely, Aisha. And for this, we have the best product actually. And that is something that we usually prefer most of the time. And that is our Afresh, right? The best replacement for tea. And we don't have that fear that, okay, we are over thing, right? So your Afresh, if you all know, mainly has your is formulated by your tea extracts, that is your green tea or extracts from your orange pekoe and your black tea leaves, right? And this also gives you that caffeine effect. That means it has that caffeine, the polyphenols in it mainly helps with making you, energized, and it helps in supporting your mental alertness, and also gives you that proper gentle boost which we all need. It makes us stay awake usually also, and especially during cold weathers, when if we have to work in the work outside, or cold weather in AC cabins and all, it gives you that gentle boost of energy as well. And it will help also make sure that that mild sweetness is enough to give you that overcome your sweet cravings as well, right? So it does not have any calories, so the tension of going overboard on calories is also never going to be there. Apart from that, as we all mentioned, it's very refreshing. If you want to have it with during winters, preferably with hot water, yeah, during summers, you can also have it with cold water, like how you have your iced teas and all. In that way also, you can definitely go for it. And it supports our metabolism. What more do we want than supporting our metabolism, right? So it also metabolism through through thermoregulation and all. It would definitely support our metabolism. Also make us move, because we are mentally alert now. We are all boosted up to do some form of exercise, to do some kind of activity, and we are not lethargic, or we are not feeling lazy anymore. So this is one of the best things. And my personal favorite in this is usually peach, which I usually shift, especially when I'm feeling a little bit sick, I definitely go in for tulsi or anything, or cinnamon and all of that. So the herbal trend for it also is managed that way.
Certainly, I cannot
So,
deny the facts, Bindu. And my
de-
favorite is Kashmiri kahwa, kahwa and peach too.
definitely, I've seen a lot. I've seen you having that more frequently. Gives you that Kashmir vibes and all of that.
More winterish.
More vintage, definitely. So, Aisha, how do we get to know more about this usually? Do we have anywhere? Do we have all of this anywhere?
Yes, we do. But before this, so if you're liking the session, guys, please, there's a link that's shared right now. I would want you to fill up that survey link and let us know your comments, your feedbacks, and if there's anything that you would want or any information that you would want us to, speak in detail about in our future sessions, right? So with that, we do take, take a minute's time and do fill in this survey form, right? It'll help us and improve better and also provide the relevant information that you require for your ongoing success, right? So while I am speaking more about where to get this information, I would want you to complete this survey, and you can get all of this information on Hatch and Grow app. You can use it on your iPhone or on your Android phone, right? It's available both on Play Store and App Store. So yes, these are the simple steps, right? Hatch and Grow. You have it in
Recording
Hindi as
stopped.
well. So this is available in English. ये हिंदी में भी available है.